joining us right now to talk about the 2-year tenure and what is her own assessment, with the Nigerian Women Football League. Is a sports journalist. Itoro Jimmy joins us this afternoon. Itoro, good afternoon to you, and welcome to In the Game.
Good afternoon, Favor. Yes, it's a pleasure to be here once again.
All right, Itoro, when it comes to, administration in Nigeria, especially in Nigeria, when a board is leaving, they always reel out what they've achieved, the successes. They talk about more of the positives. I mean, I've not seen any board that talk about his or her failure. But how would you assess Nkechi Obi's overall impact on the Nigerian Women Football League, and what aspect of her leadership stood out, for you when you look at, her administration in the Nigerian Women Football League?
Favor, I'll say, first things first, let's actually point out the fact that sponsorship is something that would first come to mind. Don't forget, not just the Nigerian Women Football League, the Men's Football League also needs sponsorship as well. But for the Nkechi Obi's led board, I love the fact that they highlighted the positive, but as well as we have the positive, we have the lows as well. But I'll start from the positive. I'll say, yes, we had a very competitive league this last 2 seasons. Very competitive. I mean, the Super Six in Bayelsa, we had 3 teams fighting, for the title on the last day. The same thing happened. When we played the last Super Six, Tikene, Remo in Ogun State. 4 teams were eligible to, pick the title on that day. That shows you how competitive the league has been. There was fair officiating, during these 2 seasons. I think that's what actually led to those, stiff competitions at the end of the day. Also, I would like to also say that she did well by, putting out a very good, front when we talk about the league being on, on TV. Yes, the group, the opening matches for this season, of course, we watch them on TV. The partnership with Star Times, people getting to see, the Women's Football League on TV. It's a very big plus, I know, to the Nkechi Obi, led administration. One thing I think I would also want to point out, I would say it's a low, is the, scrapping the Nationwide League Championship and the likes. When you take a look at, a league structure, you have, 3 tiers, where at least from the, in the Women's Football League, actually, we had the Nationwide League, we had the Championship, and of course, the Premier League. We've seen players that are playing in the Premiership now that were actually discovered, in the Nationwide League or either in the Championship. A player like, I think Daniela, that plays for Remo Star Ladies right now, she was discovered in the national league, and of course went to Conference Queens, and then from there going to Remo Star Ladies, and of course Goodness Osigwe as well was also discovered in the Championship, before making it to Edo Queens. So this growth is one thing that people have been talking about, because the Nationwide League has been, scrapped, and it's been turned around to a state league where, states will have to manage. How many teams, literally, would take a look at it, how many states actually have more than 1 teams? If we're talking about Lagos can actually produce, grassroots teams, maybe like 50. But how many states can actually, do all that? So I think it's a way of balancing this all out, really. I think it's a way of balancing it all out. She's done a whole lot, honestly. She's done a whole lot, positive and negative. I would say, I think the positive outweighs the negative.
All right, it brings me to my next question, but I'll just explain, this. Now, for games being on TV, we know that it's not the first time a women's league have gone on to appear on TV. Secondly, we also had issues of indemnities by the referees this season. We also had reports about, how, even though it's allegedly in terms of, the Nkechi-led board doing things without carrying the board along. We also saw that sponsorship for the cup committee for the league is still yet to be done. We also saw, of course, in the aspect of our ladies, remuneration from club side, pegging the amount of salaries to be paid as a benchmark for teams. These are one of the things we also saw. You've also highlighted the positives and the negatives. But do you think that we have taken 2 steps forward or 2 steps backward when you look at, where we are, Nigerian women football, considering also that teams were promoted, without having to, play a competitive games to get promoted, and the league was expanded.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we have same kind of same teams or same number of teams going all the way to the Super 6, from last season and last 2 seasons.
Yeah, so I'll say that at this point, I think we took 2 steps backward because, when you're promoting a top tier football team, you are organizing a tournament at the beginning of every season. What really makes it very, very, important is the developmental stage, because you can't keep having the same set of, teams play year in, year out. And the developmental part is really, really key. Grassroots football, that's what we are really clamoring for. That's what we're really, really clamoring for. I love the fact that you mentioned, the remuneration in terms of salaries and the likes. These are things that, are still causing some level of debate, which I feel is still going to go on for a little bit more time, because until we get, somebody that is business-minded to run the Nigerian Women Football League, we'll continue having these conversations. You understand? We need sponsorship. Yes, we know that we have more private teams probably play more now in the women's football league, but do we really have the business-minded people at the helm of affairs? I don't think we've had that just yet, and until we get that, we still have a long way to go. I hope that maybe the NFF can probably step in and probably appoint somebody, or probably look into, bringing in somebody that is more business-minded. That's where sport business comes in, bringing someone that is more business-minded, so that, the league, they can put the league in a place where it will attract, branding, corporate sponsorship, partnership, you understand, so that the league can actually go forward. I don't mind if it's local or international. This is something that I think the NFF should take a look at, so that we grow out of this, because really the Nigerian Women Football League, yes, football is rising, and of course we really need to go all the way up and not keep dancing around back and forth like we've done the last few years.
All right, Itoro, thank you for your insights thus far. I think one thing is clear is that, over the last 2 years under Nkechi Obi, we've seen the growth and developments irrespective of the other issues, right? I think what happens on the pitch is the most important thing. And from what happens on the pitch in terms of quality, we can then, fix other issues. But then her tenure is over now. And as the NWFL transitions to new leadership, what systems or reforms must be prioritized to rebuild credibility, attract sponsorship, and ensure operational sustainability?
Okay, so I'll say first things first. The developmental part is very, very key. Very, very key. We have lots of talent in Nigeria, and for the league to be attractive, it has to be open enough for other people to also get the opportunity to come on board. Yes, young teams, other states have to get opportunities to come on board. At this point, I think we only had, 2 teams or so from the north that participated this season. So I think it should be open enough. And the only way it can be open is to, reintroduce the nationwide league, where you discover these teams, the championship, taking a look at that. And I already mentioned that one of the things to be done that I think would actually make it attractive, make it very appealing for brands to come in, is to get somebody that understands the business of football, to put the Nigerian women football up there, so that they, brands can, come on board. They are willing to, they can, of course, come on board to be partners, and of course, be willing to sponsor, so that at the end of the day, players can actually get paid properly, and it will attract a whole lot. Also, I know the journalists, this time around, the coverage has been so much because journalists are beginning to, not just use the traditional media formats. They're using, taking advantage of the social media and all that. So the visibility has been really, really much over time, and I think it will only grow and not decline. The most important thing is for, I think, NFF to take a look at it and then just make sure that they bring the right person to take charge.
All right, we'll be keeping tabs on that. Of course, we know that the NFF in no time will be looking forward to announce a new board for the Nigerian Women Football League board. We hope that whoever comes on board would also have this business mindset to take our women's football from where it is now to greater heights. Thank you very much, Itoro Jimmy, for your time. I will look forward to having you in subsequent edition of our show. All right.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.